last couple of years, I have been incredibly dedicated to working out and overall trying to improve my own health. Now, if you don't know, basically between the time where I would say 13 or 14 years old to the time that I was 21, I had bare minimum physical activity. Now, I would still walk like 10K steps a day, but I never ran, I never jumped, I never jumped rope. Basically, if I could get out of doing anything physical, I would. And I did a lot of the time. But around the time that I hit 21, I was starting to get pretty big, I will say. Like, I was pretty obese. I'm about 6'4", 6'5", but I was pushing 250 to 260 pounds of no physical activity. And at this time, it was probably one of the most depressing points in my life because, I never really saw myself in that way. I never really thought like I would get to that point. And a big thing that was carrying me for a long time that I didn't realize was, actually going on walks and stuff like that. But around that age, around, 20 to 21, I kind of stopped walking a lot because I lived essentially next to a highway, and the only way to walk was to walk on the highway, which is I just wasn't gonna do. But I started working out really, really hardcore one day. I don't know why. I don't know what it was. I don't know what the motivation was behind it, but I just started going. I just started running. I started jumping rope. I started getting 20K steps in a day. And very, very quickly, we lost a lot of fat. Now, I still do want to lose more fat in general, but I went from, like I said, 250 to 60 to now I am 198 pounds, which is a significant amount while also being in such physical, unbearable pain that it is so hard to describe in like in certain ways. For example, I got incredibly bad shin splints before. If you don't know what shin splints are, it's basically when you're putting I guess the best way to put it is micro fractures into your shins by doing things like running, jumping a rope, whatever it is, and it hurts really, really, really bad. It like to the point where you take one step even forward and it feels like someone is taking a baseball bat and hitting you in your shin, but times 10. Like, I'm not even joking. That's how bad it hurts. And I had to deal with this for so long. And this is actually one of the big things that halted my overall progress was obviously I've had some setbacks here and there, but for the most part, it's getting injured because I am the type of person who when I do something, I like to do it at 150%. So when I got up the first day that I started working out, I instantly ran a mile and a half. I went and I jumped rope for 10 minutes straight. And I walked 20K steps. And I did that every single day for months straight. And I remember that I was aching a little bit. And I was like, man, I was getting to that point where I was hearing my bones click and clack, I guess you could say. And I remember I was walking to the park one day, and and I'm walking, and I got to the point where I was gonna jump rope, and I went to jump rope, and I remember I like did one swing on the jump rope, and my leg hit the ground, and it physically felt like my bone shattered underneath my weight. I'm not joking. It was one of the worst pains I've ever had in my entire life. And I had to basically slowly walk all the way back home. 6 miles away, by the way, because like I said, I was getting like 20K steps in. So I'm 6 miles away from home. And I'm like, man. And I was in so much pain. I had to take a rest day. And I had to take another rest day. And another one. And another one. And I had to go almost a full month off of just working out because of how bad my shin splints were and how bad, as a overall, my muscles felt. Like I said, I was never active before this, so this was like I was essentially completely ripping apart my entire body on a whim of just one day of just going, yeah, it's time for a change. And it was absolutely crazy. I remember going and I was talking to my dad after I just like lifted weights for the first time ever in my life, by the way, where I just lifted weights and like my arm was literally stuck in a position like this. Like I'm not even joking. It was literally just like stuck like this. I couldn't move it down. I couldn't move it up. I literally couldn't even like barely pick anything up because it was just stuck like this the entire time. And I remember I like going to sleep. I had to physically push my arm down onto my bed and just kind of lay there back in like a starfish position essentially to even get a tiny bit of sleep. And this has kind of been the process of the journey over the course of the last couple of years. Yeah, for like 2 years now, since I was 21 to now where I am 23, it has been the process of the journey where I push myself so physically and so much demandingly that I kind of break my body and then I wait for it to recover, which is not a healthy way to do it at all. By the way, if you're working out, please do not do it the way that I do it. Go take your one rest day, go take your two rest days, whatever it is. It is incredibly important that you do those things, but that my brain just can't comprehend that. Like once I take one rest day, my body goes, you might as well take two. Oh, you might as well take three. Oh, you might as well take four. And that is a big issue that I've run into throughout the years. But you might be asking, why are you making this video? But the reason I'm making this video is because we finally progressed. And it might sound crazy, you went through all this stuff, you healed and like all this stuff. You think that you would just keep getting shin splints, and I think there's a lot of people that do go through that get shin splints, especially when you don't do a lot of physical activity or have your arms lock up or something like that. And genuinely, after a while, I don't get them anymore. I just genuinely don't. I go downstairs. I'll jump rope in the garage. I'll do the same amount that I was doing before. Sometimes I'll even do more, and I'm faster. I have like more rhythm behind it, and it doesn't feel like someone's taking a baseball bat to my leg every time I jump rope anymore. And on top of that, I'm still walking 20K steps every single day. And I just want to say, if anything, just use like, just know, like, it genuinely does get overall better while working out. At first, it's going to, especially if you don't work out, it's going to hurt. It's going to be painful. It's going to be one of the worst pains you've ever experienced in your entire life. But you can grow. Don't listen to the fake stuff on the internet. Don't listen to oh no carbs. Oh, you should do only the carnivore diet. Oh well, if you just eat a salad every day, don't listen to that stuff. Do your research. Do what you need to do to figure out what your body needs. Now, I still am in the progress of losing weight as a overall, but I mean, so my arm, right? I used to be able to fit my hand around it. And now, like, we actually have decent muscle definition in the arms. My arms are literally 4 times the size of what they used to be. And the same with my legs and everything. And I will probably continue to train, which it might sound like I'm a little bit crazy for this, but I'll probably continue to train the same way, honestly. I'll train, get to the point where I'm like, okay, I think if I train anymore, I'm going to get severely injured because that's what happened with the shin splits thing, and then I'll stop. And I think there's just something like behind that. Like if you're someone who has trouble with motivation, or you're like me, who when you take a rest day, you also take that as, oh well, it's a rest day, so you can also do a cheat day or something of that sort. My biggest advice is genuinely work out until basically you feel like you can't for a minute, and then take a week or two off, and then hop back on it, and don't feel bad. Like that's how I've noticed the most progress with me personally. I'll literally go, I'll lose 10, 15 pounds, and I'll still try to eat decently well, right? Like watch your calories and stuff like that. But just it doesn't hurt to take a week or two off of training. Unless you're a bodybuilder, like it really, really doesn't matter. Especially because something we talked about a little while back on this channel when I started talking about losing weight and stuff like that was I like to train kind of like how warriors would train, you know? And that might sound weird, like, why are you training like a warrior or whatever? But I just, there's such a fascination with it of pushing your body to the actual maximum limitations that you have. And yeah, I just kind of wanted to show you guys like some progress to talk to you guys about what's been going on and with working out and stuff like that because we still do it. I did cut my hair. I do regret it. It's a sad day. The hair will grow back though. It will. It'll take like 2 years, but it'll grow back and it'll look better than it did before because you know I'm actually in the habit of taking care of it instead of just letting it go everywhere. But thank you guys for watching, and I hope you guys enjoyed my story time of me breaking myself until it felt like people were hitting me with baseball bats. But have one fun night, everybody. Peace.